AITA for being mad my sister was testing my boyfriend on mobile. I, 21F, have a boyfriend, 22 meters, who is super awesome and I love him. We've been dating for 2 years and starting to get serious, so we decided to meet each other's parental units. We went to my parents last week and we're going to stay for a few days. We didn't. My sister, 18, was all on him, and in his personal space. She's already a touchy person, but this was making him uncomfortable. He kept telling her no and to stop doing what she's doing. She kept doing it, so we stayed for dinner and left the next morning. My sister texted me when we left and said, "Well, he's pretty loyal." I asked her, "What?" And she said he was testing him for me. I hate when I read stories of people testing their partners, so I told him, "Hey, my sister tried testing you." I didn't tell her to do it. Luckily he responded, "I know, so that's good." I was angry with her and told my parents, who said they saw no problem with it. I told them that I won't bring my boyfriend for Christmas since they saw no problem with my sister making him uncomfortable. They told me to stop being a bitch about it. AITA for being mad at my sister and telling my parents I won't bring him. They liked him. I just have a problem with them now. NTA. I find what she was not only rude, but totally disrespectful to you and your boyfriend. She was basically saying she doesn't trust your judgment to pick out a mate that will be faithful to you and not cheat. If my daughter ever did that to anyone, she would be getting a rude reality check. Plus, after having to be on guard all day just to meet your family, why would you want to bring him again on day that's about relaxing and enjoying your family and friends, when neither of you would be able to relax, not knowing what else your sister might try and knowing your parents won't do anything about her behavior? Curious how she would react if tables were turned. NTA. What your sister did was gross and your parents are out of line for backing her up. I'm sure that's going to make every family gathering he attends uncomfortable for him going forward. NTA. Your sister relentlessly sexually harassing a person who has come into her home as a guest is indefensible. And your parents are both assholes and bad hosts for backing her up here. Also, the just a test excuse is 100% bullshit. Your sister was harassing your boyfriend because she wanted to, and the so-called test was a post hoc explanation once she determined he wasn't going to magically switch his affections to her. Maybe I'm projecting, because I've known a few people like this, but she sounds like the kind of person who takes other people's relationships as a challenge and likes to boost her own ego by trying to get positive attention from other people's partners. Yeah, she's been awful through freshman year of her high school. I don't know what happened after though, because of school and almost no contact. Some people just suck and place their own gratification over basic decency to others. There's a chance she may still grow out of it, but it seems like interacting with her as infrequently as possible is the best approach. NTA. And your sister wasn't testing him. She was trying it on with him and then got worried that he would tell you when she failed. That was just her excuse to cover herself. If he did tell you, your sister isn't trustworthy and her actions against your boyfriend were sexual assault. NTA. A. Testing a partner is gross. B. You've been in a relationship for 2 years. It's disrespectful. And C. In what reality would that scenario even work in the way she thought it would? Oh look, my significant other sibling is throwing themselves on me in front of them. I'm gonna mess up my entire relationship. NTA. No means no. She should have stopped when her BF said stop. Also, why does she think she did a good job for testing her BF? Question mark. That's what breaks down relationships. Her paranoia will be the fall of her relationship. Your parents are also assholes for back your sister up. NTA. She sexually harassed him. Maybe framing it like that will make your parents realize why it's not cool. Alternatively, tell them you'll only come over if your boyfriend is allowed to flirt with both your parents. NTA. If you have never asked her to do this in the past, and you never hinted that you were worried that he would wander, I don't think this started out as testing him. It's a strong possibility that your sister was either trying to seduce your boyfriend for herself or sabotage your relationship because she failed and thought you or BF might have noticed. She disguised it after the fact as trying to test him for you. Even if she had been doing this as some weird type of sister code situation, it's bananas. I agree with you. Women who test their men have bigger issues to deal with. You either trust them or you don't. Setting up a trap. Snooping on their phone. All of those are things that spouses do to get proof for a better divorce settlement. Sounds like your sister was looking to break you up. You're wise to keep your distance, because she either wants to break you up or have him for herself. And her behavior will only escalate because your parents seem okay with it. My question is, was it really a test, or is that what she said because she was rejected? That's pretty ducked up for your sister to do. Your family shouldn't be interjecting themselves into your relationship at all. NTA. I'd be beyond livid. NTA. My younger sister used to do this all of the damn time with every single guy I was dating. My mom and sister would laugh about it, like it was no biggie, until they tried to do it with my husband, married 18 years. And he legit said to her that she disgusts him and wasn't worth his time. By then, she had him trapped in the kitchen refusing to move for over 10 minutes and was trying to feel him up the entire time. He basically had to put his hands flat under her armpits and toss her to the side to get free. He told me immediately, and I told her to cut the shit out. They were pissed I didn't take my sister's side and said she was sexually assaulted. Yeah. No. I know exactly what happened, as I'd seen it myself numerous times before. They also both tried to convince him to leave me at the altar day of our wedding, and he could just move in with them because Twobbit is just a bitch. Close bracket. There is a reason we are no contact with them. Both are huge narcissists and enjoyed making me miserable. For my sister, her jealousy over boyfriends or even friends was always a problem where she did shit like that. In my mind, she was trying to be like, see, I'm better than Twobbit still. I think they both are missing parts of their very dark souls. NTA. That was harassment, not testing. Testing itself sucks, but when he says no, stop doing that, she should stop. If the genders were reversed, it'd be seen as harassment, maybe even assault. Her boyfriend sounds great for trusting you even before you said you weren't behind it. NTA. I would tell your sister that assaulting someone isn't a test. He may have passed her test, but she didn't pass his. What your sister did was disrespectful to both you and, more importantly, your boyfriend. I would tell your sister that it is disturbing that she felt she had the right to do such a thing. NTA. And technically what she did was assault. I would tell them, okay, fine, but so you know, we are filing charges for assault. That ought to get their attention. I would also ask, so when would it be okay for him to defend himself? Would you want him to slap my sister? In my view, it would be warranted for continuously acting like a predator on sister's part. NTA. I would actually be more concerned with her behavior. Claiming to be doing it for you is a ploy. I suspect a more nefarious reason. Has she done this before? Is she passive aggressive or highly competitive with you? There was no test. She was trying to duck him and she failed. So that is a story she is going with. NTA. Semicolon. Also info. What was she doing where he told her no? Stop. NTA. No, she was not. She was being purposely flirty and crossing boundaries to try to have some control or manipulation. He said stop and she won't. That's not doing anyone a favor. That's sexual assault. Your sister thinks she's so irresistible that your boyfriend would flirt with her in front of the family? Exclamation mark. Question mark. Exclamation mark. Question mark. Your parents won't handle it. So you need to tell your sister she wasn't doing anyone any favors. Her misguided attempt only made him and you uncomfortable. He asked her to stop, and she disrespected his personal boundaries for some unexplainable reason. She has caused a breach in your trust in her as a person and her as a sister. As a sister, she should know not to do that the first time she meets someone special. As a person, she should know not to treat a stranger like that. NTA. It's not her place to do that, especially if it made him uncomfortable. In such situations, always ask yourself, what if the genders were reversed? It wouldn't in any way be acceptable if you were dating a girl and had a brother who was testing her. This is not okay behavior, and it's great that you let it be known that you wouldn't let this happen again. Hire an escort for your father for Christmas to test him. NTA. Your parents and sister are toxic AF. A more serious suggestion. Assuming BF's family is not ours, spend Christmas with his family and ignore yours. NTA. It'd be suspicious she was actually coming on to him, and when he didn't return the interest she decided it would look better to tell you first. So she doesn't look like the bad guy. Even if she was testing him, you never asked her to. And it's not even a good idea to begin with. NTA. Testing him? IDK dude. I think she had different intentions. The text could mean, well, he's pretty loyal. I tried everything to get him, and he ignored me. The not loyal one is your sister. NTA. Sounds like your teenage sister was trying to sleep with your boyfriend. When she figured out it wasn't working, she claimed it was a test to cover her ass. Don't trust her in the future. There's nothing to stop her from doing it again. Op. NTA. What your sister did was wrong, and if your parents are going to back her, then chances are she is going to do what she wants, and you are out in the cold. Not a pretty thing to think about, so do not blame you there. If they call back, tell them this: your sister failed the test that you put out on her. That's due to her attempt to seduce your boyfriend away from you. Pretty much means that you will no longer be bringing him by, as long as she is there for any reason. You do not trust her. That since it is obvious that they favor her, that you hope that this is what they want. As when you do get married, you will have to think on if it is worth it to have them there, or even in the lives of any of the children you may have. Think on it, then hang up, and put them on a timeout until after the holidays. I was angry with her, and told my parents, who said they saw no problem with it. You have boundaries. Your parents have problems. One of them is probably with you having boundaries. I told them that I won't bring my boyfriend for Christmas, since they saw no problem with my sister making him uncomfortable. You are able to enforce your boundaries to protect yourself and others. Your boyfriend is a lucky guy. They told me to stop being a bitch about it. Your parents are assholes. NTA. NTA. I think it's more likely your sister tried to seduce your boyfriend. When it didn't work, she decided to tell you she was testing him to save face and cover her ass. What your sister did was sexually harass your boyfriend. Just because she's female and he's male does not change that. She invaded his personal space, made him uncomfortable, made you uncomfortable, and took it upon herself to attempt to challenge and potentially ruin your relationship. Nothing about that was acceptable. NTA. Your parents are enabling her behavior, and that makes them tar too. Alternative scenario. C's tried to bang BF and fail. Solution. Says she was only testing him. NTA. But your sister is though. NTA. But bring an escort to Christmas dinner to hit on your dad incessantly throughout. Then tell your mom that your present to her this year is proof of dad's loyalty. NTA. Be sure to return the favor when your C's brings a BF around, or she could not sexually harass people. You say you care for this person, right? Then him into a situation you know is going to be uncomfortable for him. By not making him go to Christmas, you are being a great girlfriend. So let's say that your BF did give in to her and they slept together. Would you just be okay with your sister's actions? BC. She was testing him? Yeah, I think not. What she did was gross and weird, and to me sounds like she just wants something she can't have, so she used the excuse of testing him. And for you parents to think that's okay is terrible. NTA. NTA. Let me guess. Your sister can do no wrong. Forget seeing them. Go with him to visit his parents. Maybe they will learn what is inappropriate if they don't get to see you anymore. You need to stand up more for your boyfriend. If you think this is a long-term relationship, they need to know it changes, or they won't see you. By leaving him home and you visiting, it tells them they can treat him however poorly they want, and you won't stand up for him. They need to not tolerate her behavior, or apologize to your boyfriend, and guarantee it won't happen again for either of you to return. NTA. But I question whether that's what she was really doing. Has there ever been any rivalry between you? Is it at all possible that she was trying to steal him away from you just to prove that she could, or just to mess with your relationship, and when that failed, she claimed she was just testing? I don't know your sister or your relationship with her, so you would be the better judge of the plausibility of that theory. Regardless, You have every right to be angry with her and your parents for siding with her. Your parents' response to your sister violating the space of someone else and making them uncomfortable, in essence harassing him, is to call you a bitch. Does that sound even remotely reasonable to you? I sure hope not. Your sister has proven herself to be someone that can't be trusted, someone that is willing to make others uncomfortable and disrespect boundaries. This behavior absolutely should not be tolerated. The fact that your parents see nothing wrong with it is, honestly, quite disturbing. Enjoy the holidays with your boyfriend's family. NTA. NTA. We can argue all day if testing is morally okay, but this isn't testing. Testing him would be sending him a text asking if he wants to hook up and how no one would need to know, and dropping it once he says no. It certainly isn't repeatedly sexually harassing him in front of you and not taking no for an answer. I'm guessing this is one of those things where someone only says they weren't serious once they realize they may have to face the consequences of their actions. And your parents are also tough for allowing her unacceptable behavior and for calling you a bitch for not wanting to subject your boyfriend to harassment. I'm sorry you're dealing with this op. NTA. I'm in a snarky mood today and I would tell your parents that they failed the test to be supportive parents and that they earned themselves a timeout. Gave one to my parents when my mother defended my sister for screaming at me over a phone call while I was visiting with my hubby and kids. The call was for me. She took it and would not hand over the phone. We were in our 30s. Did not visit for 5 years. NTA. Your boyfriend just got harassed by your sister and your parents okay with it? WTF. You should definitely not stay with your parents for Christmas. It's the fact that your sister didn't even tell you and kind of blindsided you. Maybe she said she was testing him when she saw that he was loyal and could have been trying to cover up her tracks. Either way, your family are weird. NTA. Wow, if your sister actually believes that her actions tested the loyalty of your partner and proved something, she sounds self-obsessed / narcissistic and somewhat removed from reality. I would keep my distance. She sounds like trouble and will have no capacity for remorse or regret. And it sounds like your parents have fed her ego and lack of empathy and morality. So duck up. Congrats for finding happiness on your own terms. Your sister, I'm gonna sexually harass Ops BF. Your parents, sounds chill. You, hey, quit sexually harassing my BF or at least punish C's parents. Now you a bitch. NTA. Tell your parents to imagine if the genders were reversed, if a brother was intruding on a GF's personal space to test her. The whole concept is frickin' creepy and super inappropriate and seems like your sister just wanted to get attention. NTA. I don't know why it is so hard for some women to recognize that men have the same right to body integrity that women do. My late husband refused to be alone with my sister because she was too touchy-feely for his liking. At least my mother had the common decency to tell her to leave him alone. NTA. My little sister did this. She said, yeah, he's pretty cool. He didn't rape me. I was like, what the duck do you mean he didn't rape you? Question mark? Exclamation mark. And she said, well, I went to his bed and lied next to him and he wouldn't even touch me. I wanted to kill her for doing that. Edit. I wanted to fight her after she did this because at the time my husband was dying of kidney failure. He was literally on a dialysis machine when she went to lay next to him. I had her go lay in my room because I didn't like her flirting with guys that were at my house and she was sleeping over. I don't know what the duck is wrong with her, but she was lucky I was 8 months pregnant or I would have beaten the shit out of her for trying to set up my husband to rape her. NTA. As much as some people think family is family, you'd be better off going no contact. And not to be morbid, but she can claim things against him that he never did, and your parents will back her up. Keep him away from that mess and enjoy being welcomed in by his family. I would have left that house once she refused. I would be furious if my sister tried pulling this shit on me. You're NTA. Your sister is. And your parents are definitely in the wrong for not seeing any problems. NTA. Your family's normal meter is out of joint. Also, your sister might be trying to brush off her inappropriate actions as testing him in the face of his rejection. but don't completely dismiss the possibility that she was just hitting on him because she finds him attractive. Her manipulative explanation seems to suggest that she is not above behaving badly. Except boyfriend. Why didn't you step in and ask her to stop? Imagine his brother had done half the things she did to him. How youd you had felt if he had done nothing. Like, I'm assuming you saw, since you heard him say no several times. You're not the asshole for being mad at your sister and parents, but you definition dropped the ball by not standing up to him at the time. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.